Hey guys, let's get right into it. I was just on Twitter and I was watching these people fight back and forth about $15 minimum wage versus UBI. Which is better? And it was getting a little bit ugly. So the first thing I want to do before I get into the numbers is I want to mention these two ideas are not mutually exclusive. We can have both, and I'm predicting, and you can call me out on this, we eventually will have both in the United States. It is inevitable. But the really argument is which one should we go for first, because we can only concentrate political energy towards so many things at a time. So let's get into the numbers. So the meme that the $15 minimum wage proponent shared was poking fun at UBI as being stupid because $7.25 minimum wage plus the extra $1,000 a month comes out to about $28,000 a year. And a $15 minimum wage would come out to $31,000 a year. So in his mind, it's a clear winner. He didn't factor for any taxes, anything at all. This is what happens when you have meme politics. You leave out really the deep understanding of what's going on. So let's run the numbers on what this would actually look like. First of all, 40 hours a week on minimum wage does not happen. These workers are getting usually less than 35 hours a week, because if someone was making minimum wage at 40 hours a week, then that employer is going to have to pay them benefits. Employers that are trying to skimp out and pay low wages are not trying to give benefits to workers. In fact, my wife was working a low-wage job, and she was actually given shifts that were 5 hours long so they wouldn't have to give her breaks. They didn't want to do paid breaks. So you're not going to force companies to do anything. This is something that you're not really going to get around so easily. So let's go with 35 hours a week. That's the high side for low-wage work. If you had 35 hours a week times the minimum wage, $15 minimum wage versus $7.25 plus the $12,000 a year, it's going to come out to, you're actually going to get $25,000 a year under the UBI, but the person with the $15 minimum wage is actually going to get only $27,000. Now, so you might think, oh, well, that's still $2,000 better. Why even make the point? Well, you're forgetting. When you make that much more money, you're going to be taxed a lot more. And the UBI is not taxed. So it's very, very different. So under Yang's plan, if you're making $1,000 a month on top of that $7.25 wage at 35 hours a week, you're going to get taxed $1,100 a year. So that comes out to about that $24,000 after taxes. Under Bernie's plan, if you're making $15 minimum wage, that means you're going to get taxed at about, and I want to get the numbers exact here, $4,500. So at the $4,500 tax, you're now coming down to $22,500. So already you're less, and that's considering someone working at absolute minimum wage, which doesn't happen. That's the second point. We do not have people working at minimum wage in the United States. You think I'm wrong? Look it up. There are 2% of people who work at or below minimum wage in the United States. It's extremely rare, and of that 2%, most of them are actually working tipped wages that bring them above what minimum wage would be. So that has to do with things like waiters, waitresses, salon workers, people who do your nails. Those kinds of people are tipped. And so, for example, a waiter who's tipped is actually going to make a median wage of $10.50 an hour. So, and that makes up for a huge portion of that 2%. And so this is not, what people think it is. It's not like, oh, Americans are all making $7.25 an hour. $15 minimum wage is going to come in. It's going to double everyone's pay. Because first of all, a lot of that's going to get lost to taxes, and the UBI is not going to be taxed, so it comes out better across the board. Okay. Secondly, it doesn't even address people who are stay-at-home mothers. It doesn't help people who are retired, people who are disabled. Those are all people who are not going to get anything with the $15 minimum wage. As a doctor, I work with lots of patients who are well over 65, and yeah, they're on Social Security, but they all tell me it's a fixed income. That's not a lot of money for them, right? Essentially, this UBI is actually one of the biggest expansion to Social Security that anyone's ever proposed. So it's actually going to pretty much double, because the average Social Security recipient is making about $1,200 a month on that, and the extra $1,000 a month, that's almost doubling what they make. And so that's another reason, is that it's not just helping those 2% of people that are making minimum wage, or actually well under 2% because of tipped wages. It's not just helping that small, tiny portion. It's helping everybody, because the fact of the matter is, even if 2% of people are working at minimum wage, over 70% of Americans can't afford a $500 unexpected bill. So 70% of people are struggling, and only 2% of people are working at minimum wage. So which would you rather do? Target something that helps the 2% or everyone? And we already looked, and the numbers don't even work out for the 2% better than they would under UBI. So in closing, I really just want to say that if you're watching this video, I know you're probably either a Yang supporter or a Bernie supporter, and either way, I know your heart's in the right place. I just want you to get the math in the right place so you know which one is truly better, because there's really no scenario that I can find and I can create where a $15 minimum wage works out better than a universal basic income. And that's what I really seek to do when I look through the numbers and I look at all these articles. I just can't see any scenarios where $15 minimum wage is better than universal basic income, especially because 29 states already have a minimum wage that's above the $7.25 federal, and also Washington, D.C. So 29 states plus Washington, D.C., plus companies like Amazon are at $15 an hour as their minimum, and most people probably don't even know Walmart's minimum wage is $11 an hour. So a lot of companies are well above the $7.25. So everyone out there is working with the wrong numbers when they look at these problems. So dig into the numbers, check my work. I'm going to post some of the links to these articles where I got the facts in the description. Check those out. Hit the like button. That really helps kind of push the videos through the algorithm. And hit subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. All right, till next time.